What's up, my peeps? Good day to you. My wife Molly and I are off exploring Florida once again, and we don't have a set game plan today. We're kind of loosey-goosey, if you will. But our first stop, we do have our first stop picked out. We're going to a place called Green Cove Springs, and supposedly, and I won't know until we get there, supposedly there is an old fuel cell for like the space shuttle or some sort of rocket system. And when they shut down parts of the space program, they had this extra fuel cell rocket thing, and it sat for years and years and years. And then they moved it to Green Cove Springs, and it sat there until hopefully now. But they had an intent to take it somewhere else, and something fell through. Apparently, it was going to go to a museum. We're going to go check it out. We're going to see if it's still there. If there's an opportunity to do a little photo shoot there, that would be awesome. And then we're going to move on to the next spot. We don't know where that's going to be yet. We're going to rally once we check out Green Cove.
We are in Green Cove Springs looking for a space shuttle fuel tank that is abandoned out here somewhere. So we are driving around, kind of taking a peek, seeing if we can find it.
Here we found the fuel cell for the space shuttle. And I have this on super wide so I can get it all in, but it's massive. You know, just to give some reference, this whole street here takes up, it's bigger than the building over there. That little truck. So I'm gonna walk up to it. Check it out.
Looks like there's a sign over here with some history, so let's see what we can find. Space shuttle external tank. There's information. If you want to read, you can pause here.
These massive tires on here. This was a chair, and there's a seat belt and everything. It's all rusted out, but apparently, you know, somebody would be sitting there while this is moving. Max speed 5 miles per hour. Another angle of that chair there. Some of the motor components, just this massive contraption that was just for moving this big fuel cell. So, into the rocket there. Super cool.
This thing is massive.
All right, so I'm right under the rocket here. Super neat. As you can see, it's just massive. It's, you know, made to get that rocket, you know, get that shuttle into outer space. It's strange that things like this just get abandoned. Really neat though. Lots of history here. There you see the space shuttle fuel tank from kind of afar. Typical little Florida scene. We got a little palm tree. It fascinates me because this probably cost, you know, millions and millions of dollars, more than most people's houses or even a few houses, and it just lays here and sitting for nothing. You know, it's never going to get used. Our tax dollars probably went to pay for it, and it's just abandoned. So, you know, I don't know what the state's plan is with this, or if they're just going to leave it here forever. It is kind of a historical marker now, and so maybe that's their plan, just let it sit and rot. But what a waste. What a waste of technology and a waste of money, obviously. But really a cool find, and it's not hidden. It's not something that you have to search too far and wide for, but it is kind of tucked back, and it's just sitting here. Pretty neat.
Greg's doing a little walking over here. I think he's looking for a place to maybe do some photos. It's pretty bright out here, so that would have to be up to him, knowing if it would be something that we could do.
Found this abandoned train. Definitely a great place right here to do a photo shoot. We found some stuff. Really great from a photographer standpoint. Great lines, shapes, colors, and grit. Like I always say, I'm always looking for texture. And this old kind of abandoned area, it's like lots of apparatuses and shapes and textures and stuff like that. So we're definitely going to come back here and do kind of a sexy outdoor industrial urban abandoned photo shoot. There's also an area over here that I'm very interested in, but just back that way, that has a full airplane that just looks really cool. Like, it'd be awesome to shoot at. And at some point I'll probably talk to somebody and see if we could get permission to shoot in there.
It's our weekend and we are going to go find abandoned spot. We are heading to Port Orange, Florida. There is a place called Bongoland. Come along with us. Just pulled up to the Sugar Mill Gardens, and I think we're in Daytona. I'll have to double check on that, but we just pulled up and Bongoland is in this location.
Sign there about Bongoland. Feel free to pause the video and read that if you want to.
Oh, I see a dinosaur off in the distance.
All right, so we are in what was formerly Bongoland, and now it's a botanical garden. This isn't exactly abandoned by my sense of the word, but it is a once abandoned spot. You know, the Bongoland is gone. It left in like the 50s, but now it's got this really nice botanical garden. And yeah, we're going to show you around and show you some of the relics that are still here from Bongoland.
We are just walking around the gardens, and I think we found our first dinosaur that would be part of the Bongoland.
It's the giant sloth.
Giant ground sloth. Nature's Chapel. Looks like there's some seating up here. I wonder if they can have special events and stuff. Well, we'll have to find out.
Little altar there, little chapel. They call this Nature's Chapel. They got all these chairs right here, which I imagine people get married here on a regular basis. So kind of romantic and real pretty, and it's all covered with this nice trees and foliage everywhere.
Looks like we're about to walk up to the Triceratops. Walk up to the Triceratops. That's cool.
All right, so we came across one of the dinosaurs. This is the Triceratops, and I'll just turn around so you can see it. There we go. And all this is made from concrete and chicken wire. And everything is just really lush here. This botanical garden really has a lot of vegetation, and it's really nice. These sculptures, I'll go on to this a little bit. These sculptures were built in the 40s, I believe, and by the 50s, this place was no more.
I think we've got a couple more, or at least one more dinosaur coming up here.
Sign that said danger dinosaur crossing with a big old bite out of it. Coming up from behind, coming up on another dinosaur. But first there's a little tugboat. Here we are. This might be a stegosaurus. Let's see what it says. It says do not feed the dinosaurs. So far I'm pretty happy that we came here. It's not as abandoned as I was hoping. I was hoping it would be like kind of a hard thing to find, or you'd have to break in to, you know, crawl through a fence or something, but it is really nice. It is just a park setting, and then there's remnants of the old theme park that was here. I guess apparently there used to be a train that would go through here when it was Bongoland, and it'd take you to the different dinosaurs and different attractions. But most of those attractions are gone now, so they have this really nice trail system that goes through it. So here we're coming back towards the entrance. Yeah, this is where they were making the, this was the sugarcane plantation, and this, they built a steel structure around it to kind of preserve it, but inside here you can see the actual machinery and whatnot. Okay, so what we see here is where they take all the sugar cane, which would get pressed right here, and then the sugar would get pressed through there and come down through here, and then somehow it'd come over here. And I'm sure this was some sort of contraption that would take the liquid sugar and boil it, refine it. And then over here, there's these large vats that you can see. I bet this was so hot when they were making it, but super cool. They've built a little walkway around this stuff. Obviously that wasn't there originally. More of those big old vats. That one. Far side obviously has seen better days. It's cool they're preserving it now. Looks like they need to clean this out a little bit. Super cool piece of history here. So the interesting thing to me is that all of this stuff was built, you know, probably in the 1800s. I'll have to do some research to find the exact time. And then it didn't work out for some odd reason. I've heard a few different stories. And then this stuff was all left. And somebody purchased the land, and then they thought they'd bring an amusement park with dinosaurs in it. And that didn't work. You know, the guy that started that was just a little too early for the Florida amusement park. So you got remnants from a couple different generations of stuff all mixed, and now it's a botanical garden that anybody can go and enjoy. And it's just a nice little walk. It's one of those things you could take your kids to, show them a bit of history, and it's so shaded throughout here that even with the Florida sun beaming down on us, it's not too hot, which is nice. Great little place to take your family or yourself and spend a couple hours just checking it out. So here's another cool thing they do here. These are all plants from this botanical garden, and they're available just for a donation. So you can get a small one like that for a couple dollars, medium for $4, or like a large one for $6.
They have a little plant sale. This one. We're gonna leave a donation up front, and I think we're about wrapping up. It is hot out here, Florida, August.
All right, so we are walking through all these trails. I didn't realize that this was a whole maze of trails. Molly back there. And it's really cool. They've really made a nice place to visit. It's all off of donations, so you don't have to pay an admission price, but they do recommend donating $1. And we did. We donated a couple dollars into the donation box. You know, anything that you could do to preserve stuff like this is a good thing.
I think we liked it.
I like it.
Definitely recommend. And what's cool is you could do this while you, maybe after or before you go to a beach in Daytona, because it's just down the way.
So we just finished up at the Botanical Gardens / Bongoland, and I think we both really enjoyed it. Pretty hot outside. It's in the shade, it's about 90 degrees, and outside of the shade, obviously it's going to be a little hotter. I parked in the shade, so the truck is 90 degrees, but still getting in here, it kind of takes your breath away. We're going to go look for anything else we could find for this adventure. Now this one, Bongoland itself is a hidden gem within this botanical park, but super cool piece of history. It was left and abandoned, and the sculptures just stayed, and it's cool to see it because you could tell that they're aging and breaking down, and someday they won't be here unless somebody restores them. They did restore parts of the old plantation, and that's very cool piece of history that they definitely need to keep intact. We're off to check out what else we can find. We may not find anything else, but maybe we'll at least find something to eat, and we could throw that in the video as well. All right, so we made a quick stop. Little piece of history, something to kind of add to the video. 3 miles away from that stuff, there's this place called Last Resort Bar. I'll show you here. The hole in the wall. The bar is actually in the back, apparently. But as you can see, people put graffiti all over the outside and sign their names and whatnot. But this particular place got famous because a woman back in 89 and 90 killed a bunch of guys, a bunch of her clients, and they captured her right inside here sitting at a bar stool drinking a beer. Super cool piece of history. How you doing, bud? All right, so Molly and I went to the Last Resort Bar. Really cool piece of history there, and I think that the bar is missing the mark in a lot of ways as far as capitalizing on the fact that a murderer was apprehended at their bar. It was called The Last Stop. It was definitely her last stop before she was arrested. And maybe they turned the bar into, like, maybe the name came after that. I'm gonna have to do a little research on it, but they're missing the mark because they could totally be a lot friendlier, and the bar itself was actually abandoned, which is odd. They just have a sign that says bars in the back now. I don't know what the reasoning behind that is. It's very strange to me. But once I went back there and filmed, I had the intention on stopping and getting a beer, and the staff and some of the patrons just were not very welcoming. They did not want me there. They're angry because I was filming stuff, and if you are a famous place like that, you should be more welcoming to your customers. So they actually made it to where I didn't want to spend any money there, and it's too bad because that's one of the things that Molly and I do is we will go into restaurants and bars and stuff and show you guys the things that we enjoyed or didn't enjoy. But I didn't enjoy the way they talked to me at all, so I just wasn't going to be a patron. And they want to know where I was from. I told them, and the bartender said, "Oh, people from Oregon are the worst people on the planet." Not a very good welcoming for somebody that's trying to be a patron of your establishment. So
We are at DeCaying Springs. We're gonna go take a little look around, so come along with us.
We saw these springs that we've actually stopped by before. Didn't realize that the abandoned stuff was so close. So we're gonna check out this spring really quick, and a little bonus for the explorers out there.
dock system right here. People fishing. Checking it all out. It's a natural spring. It looks like this is the river that feeds into the spring, or the spring feeds into the river. And if you'll notice, the sign right here, caution, alligators, no swimming or wading. So they got this spring that feeds in here, and they have made a big swimming pool out of it. It's nice and clear.
We've actually been here before. One time we just kind of did a walk around, and we have not been swimming, so that is on the list, but we didn't bring our swim stuff today, so next time.
So pretty cool stopping by this spring. It is a great place to bring your family, or just come by yourself and do a swim. The springs all throughout Florida are very rejuvenating and nice. This one's definitely more family orientated. So we found the old abandoned orange processing plant. It looks like they still use this for storage for some of these commercial trucks. And there's some definitely abandoned stuff way off there. And then obviously this building is very, very weathered. Water tower there. And over here, we have a structure that has definitely seen better days. Actual manufacturing plant right there. Definitely has not been operational for quite some time.
Let's see if we can get a little closer look here. It's like there's still some like doorways in there, or doors on their frames actually, but most of the building's in pretty bad condition.
We checked out the old orange factory. I wish that there was access to it. Again, I don't mind going past signs that say no trespassing. Most of the time that's just to ward off people that are doing harmful things. We have no intention on doing that, but the reason why we didn't go past the fences this time is you could see everything from the fence that was accessible. And honestly, it's one of those things that there's not a lot there. So it's a cool piece of history, and definitely a thing to see before the land takes it back. It's literally slowly getting devoured by vegetation and stuff like that. Would have been neat to go through some of the structures. It didn't really look dangerous, but you never know until you get in there. There wasn't enough depth for me to risk getting a trespass. But like I said, if there would have been more interesting things in there, I would have hopped that fence and go in there. We saw.
We saw our first orange processing plant. It was abandoned and not accessible. I actually am interested now in seeing if there is anything else kind of like that we can go check out. If you guys have any suggestions on that, we always appreciate that. On to our next adventures.
All right, I thought we were done for the day, but I looked to the left as I was heading home, and I saw this kind of famous spot that is not abandoned, but it is very unique, and I want to show it to you. You look at all this stuff. This is all yard art. This is the most interesting spot, and it's been on my list of places to check out. I didn't realize I was close to it. Do you need a Bigfoot in your yard? This would be the one. Lots of little army guys. Look, Bob's Big Boy. Just look at all this stuff. We got a fountain right here. A big old cock. That's what I need right there. A tiger. Dinosaur. Bulls. Horses. Snowman back there. I guess inside here is just art that goes on and on and on. A lion. There's a little Bob's Big Boy right there. Let's see down there. Betty Boop. An alien. It's big old gorillas. Fountain. And this stuff just goes on and on and on. You need a little piece of New York. There it is. A little Statue of Liberty. Molly doing some recording as well. This big old ram here. You got a whole store in here. Welcome to Barberville Yard Art Emporium. They're pet friendly. So much stuff here, like another big boy right there and a big cock. So, little T-Rex right there. Do not climb or feed the animals. And a moose. It's almost a baby moose because I can put my hand on here. Please do not climb on the animals, Molly. I see you want to. Give that bear a hug. All right, so this is the Barberville Yard Art Emporium. I just did a walk around and so did Molly. I'm sure that you're already watching that footage, but the cool thing is it's huge. I mean, we haven't been in here when it's open. This is our first time seeing it, but it's huge. Looks like it goes on and on back there. We're definitely going to come check this out on a day that they're open, and if we would have known about it earlier today, we would have stopped in. All kinds of stuff here. Let me just get up close here. If you look, that store is just got all kinds of goodies, and that's just the store part. I guess this place just goes way back there and has something for everyone. So Molly and I will definitely come back and we will do a video maybe just on this spot. Like literally, there's something for everybody here.